Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome to the Rebel Pastor Podcast. Pastor Sky over here. I am not in Korea. I am actually in Taiwan right now. And nope, this is not my bedroom. I'm actually in the hospital. So guys, before I get into the story and what happened while I was over here, if this is your first time here and you like this type of content, go ahead, hit the subscribe, notification bell, like, comment, share this video with as many friends as you can. We are reaching for the 10,000 subscriber mark. We want to hit that milestone so that we can get bigger and bigger, God willing. And if you really want to help with this channel, go ahead and pray for this channel. That's like the number one thing you guys can do, and it's something that I would really appreciate. The reason why I'm talking so quietly is because I'm in a hospital, and the great thing is there's actually no one in the bed next to me, so it's kind of I could be a little bit louder, but I can't be too loud. If you also want to support this channel, look in the description below, and we have like buymeacoffee.com because I am an avid coffee drinker. But would love to talk to you guys and spend some time with you guys too. Whatever country I go to, would love to have a coffee with you also. Now, I'm currently in the hospital. I'm currently taking this video in the hospital. I'm staying here overnight because I have surgery tomorrow. And it's actually not a major surgery. It's a major injury, but it's not a really big surgery. I actually ruptured my Achilles tendon a couple days ago. So I went to, let me just tell you the whole story. The reason why I came to Taiwan is, I came to visit some friends. Also, I was able to participate in like a volleyball event. And what happened was, very, very first game, right? So it's my second or third day here in Taiwan. Very first game, not even 10 minutes in. Wasn't jumping, wasn't running. I just planted my foot to go and grab the ball. And then I heard this pop in the back of my calf. And I just dropped to the ground. And for those of you guys who don't know, well, a lot of you guys won't know this, but I have ruptured my Achilles before. When I was in New Zealand playing basketball, I ruptured my right Achilles, and same thing happened. It felt like someone kicked me in the back of my leg, and then I just dropped to the floor, and I just couldn't move my foot. Exact same thing happened. And I heard the pop, dropped to the floor, ambulance came. Now, what was quite interesting is I went to the emergency right away. And the doctors there checked up on me. And you know what they said to me? They said, everything's fine, nothing bad. You probably have a tear in your muscle, your calf muscle. So you're gonna need a couple of days, maybe need like an ultrasound just to know how bad the muscle tear is. And they kind of sent me off. And I was like, cool. Because in my head, I was like, I thought I could swear that it was my Achilles tendon. And I was super happy and yet super skeptical at the same time, because I'm like, I think it felt really serious. So what eventually happened was I was like, I got to get a second opinion. So 2 days later, I went to another hospital to get the ultrasound. And the doctor there does the ultrasound, and he does something on my leg called the Thompson test. And this is a test where you squeeze the calf, and because the calf is connected to the Achilles, if you squeeze the calf, then your foot starts to move when you squeeze the calf. So basically if you squeeze the calf and the foot moves, it means that it might at least partially be intact. But he took my left calf, squeezed it, no movement, and straight up he's like, yeah, this is serious. You basically, it looks like it's a complete tear, or else your foot would have moved at least a bit. And that's the number one way to figure out, which is the Thompson test, right? And basically he's like, you know what? If you want to know how serious your injury really is, you need to go get an MRI. And I was like, man, and they're like, they don't have an MRI, their MRI is just booked. And I was like, dang. So I was like, what should I do? Because the next day I'm going back to Korea. And I was like, well, I should just fly back to Korea and do it. But then I thought to myself I really should get this checked out right now. So I did call a couple of friends from Korea, some doctor friends, and they're like, oh, you should just do it in Taiwan. Even if to stay a little bit longer, just do it over there. And, you know, that first thing that really made me think deeply is like, sometimes even experts, they don't, if they're not a specialist, they're not going to know exactly what the issue is that you're dealing with. And if I listened to that first expert, I would have been in even bigger trouble, because the rupture that I have, it absolutely requires surgery. I would have just gone back and not gotten any surgery at all, or I would have waited too long before I would have waited too long before, and then I couldn't even get surgery, and I could be like permanently damaged in my foot too. So I think one of the things it reminds me of is, when the Bible tells us to ask God, a lot of times we ask God, and even when we get an answer, sometimes we need to ask again. And if there's someone like who would be a great example of this, it would be Gideon. Gideon got the sign from God, like, all right, it's time for you to go and defeat the enemies. And Gideon was like, you know what? Can you give me a second sign? Like, I really need a second sign. And when God gave him the second sign, this is when he was absolutely sure and convicted and convinced that this is what God was doing. And a lot of times, we do need to check and double check, right? Like, even for me, I wasn't really sure. And I think it's something that we do need to double check or even triple check at times. Now, here's where it gets even worse, my trip here, okay? So, think about this. Already, my trip here, 3 days in, I'm injured, going to the hospital. The next, issue is going to be like money. So people are going to be like, man, how are you going to pay for all this? And the answer is, I got medical insurance. So for me, I'm very confident. I got the insurance, I'm confident, and it's going to cover well over what I really need, like the money I need to get this surgery. So, thought I'm fine, bought medical insurance. And when I'm making my claim, like, hey, just want to let you know that I have an injury in Taiwan, I went to the hospital. The insurance, insurance, I was talking on the phone with the guy from the insurance company, and he says, you're not covered. And I'm like, what? He's like, you're not covered. And I'm like, no, I bought the insurance. Actually, it was my dad, who is an insurance agent, bought the insurance for me, right? And they're like, no, actually, it's the wrong insurance. It's not for Canadians going abroad. It's for people who are visiting Canada and getting insurance inside Canada. And I was like, no way. And, think about this. I'm injured, within the first couple of days of my trip, I have to get surgery. I can't play sports for like the next 6 to 8 months. And now I'm going to be paying like a lot of money for this hospital visit and this surgery. And, it's my dad. So, it's kind of, we realize at times it's very, very easy to get upset at your family, right? And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I was pretty upset. I'm like, Dad, what are you doing? Kind of thing, right? But it kind of made me, it really made me think about priorities again. Like, what is the most important thing? And I looked at myself and I said, all right, when I think about this surgery I need to do, my priority is, it's going to cost a lot of money or I get my surgery. And the answer is, my health is more important than money. Like, I got to do this no matter how much it costs. It's my health. It's way more important. So when I thought about that, I was like, you know what? Regardless of what it costs, the money is not more important than my health. So I have a priority here. And then when it came to talking to my dad and my mom about the situation, I had to rethink my priority. Like, I had to reassess my priorities again. Like, okay, what's more important? Is it the mistake? Is it the money I need to pay? Or is it like my relationship with my parents, with my dad? And once again, it's very easy. It's kind of, my parents are more important than this mistake that cost me money. And when I really looked at all that, my health, my family, and the money comes last. And I think it's something that we do need to reassess too when it comes to our life. Sometimes we go through some difficult times, and the biggest thing we need to reassess is our priorities of, remember that God is always number one. And when you rethink this, you're able to act appropriately and not ruin things that are not as important, right? So for me, I'm just like, Dad, it's fine. I tell my parents, everything's fine. Don't worry about it. Money comes last in all of them. Money we can make again, but I can't, if I destroy my relationship with my parents, I don't have other parents. I don't have another health, right? So I was like, there's no need to get upset. It'll just make me unhappy. It'll just make me maybe make a mistake that I can't, that I'll regret or I can't change. And, it's something that I enjoyed, like having that mental exercise of thinking about, what are my priorities? The last thing I thought that was really important for me was, when you get injured or something major happens in your life, something bad, I think one of the first things we do as people of faith is we're like, God, why did this happen? Isn't it true? We're like, God, why did this happen? Why is this happening? And it's interesting because when times are good, it's easy to put our trust in Him. When times are good, it's easier for us to say, God, lead the way, right? Jesus, take the wheel kind of thing, right? And it actually made me start to think about when I was a lot younger. This is what I learned in church. And I thought this was really important. It made me think about this, my situation. And what we all learn in church is we were saved by God's grace, which means we were all destined to death, destined to hell. But because of God's grace, this is why we are saved, right? None of us deserve anything. None of us can say to God, I deserve this and I deserve that. And, we, at that point when we're saved, we realize the immense grace and love of God. The problem that happens is later in our life of faith, we kind of fall into this trap where we start to feel like we deserve things, like, God, I did this for you, so you have to do this for me. Hey, God, I was good, but why are these bad things happening to me? Shouldn't you make only good things happen because I give everything to you? And I realize, if we lose that humility and if we lose that heart of understanding where we came from and how great the grace of God is, this is when we start to complain to God. This is when we start to say, God, why did you do this? And we get upset and angry at God. And if we remain humble and if we remain true to ourselves, then even when these difficult things come, what should we do? Regardless, hey, I have already received the greatest grace. Everything else that comes after that salvation is just a bonus. It's an extra blessing that God is giving us. And, if we keep our hearts in that mentality, then even when the difficult times comes, we're going to be like, God, hey, it's like, was it Paul who said, it's God who gives and God who takes away. It's God who gave me life and God who can take away my life. It's up to you, God. And if we remain humble, then even in the darkest or the most difficult times, we can just say, hey, God, I leave it up to you. It's all up to you, God, and there's nothing else. So, I just wanted to share these things with you guys. And even in my, I guess, like gloomy hours, I just wanted to share this, even the day before I get my surgery. And yeah, they said some scary stuff to me, like, we need you to sign a waiver because these things could happen. Unlikely, but I'm like, what? And it's like death. I'm like, what? But, it's unlikely, but I'm going through it. So everyone out there, if you do see this video, please pray for my surgery. I would really appreciate it. All right. Everyone have an amazing and awesome day. And we'll see you guys again next week on the Rebel Pastor podcast. All right. Take care and bye-bye.
Rebel, never settle. I raise the level. It's time to go, sky's the limit.